A worldwide rally against genetically modified food giant Monsanto is being held across the globe. Activists are protesting the use of potentially harmful chemicals in food production, something Monsanto says is the only way to feed the globe's growing population. Hundreds of cities are set to take part in the march across more than 60 countries. RT's Marina Portnaya has this report from New York.
In the land of supersize, approximately 85% of all processed foods contain genetically modified organisms. GMO is an acronym that owes its notoriety largely to the agriculture giant Monsanto, a multinational billion-dollar corporation generating global criticism revolving around the safety of its products and growing monopoly over the world's food supply.
They're able to patent the genetically modified seeds with a very strong patent, so farmers can only lease the seeds from Monsanto each year, and they can't save the seeds.
Researchers have documented dozens of health risks associated with the consumption of modified foods, and the majority of Americans have campaigned for GMO foods to be labeled just like these organic fruits are labeled. But so far, the will of the people has been silenced by the money of Monsanto. According to OpenSecrets.org, the company spent nearly $6 million last year lobbying federal lawmakers and food regulators. The payoff came this year with the passing of the so-called Monsanto Protection Act, a bill that gives biotech companies immunity from lawsuits pertaining to the production and sale of genetically modified seeds.
The new reality of the world is that chemical companies are feeding us and our families. It's now sort of laboratory to table rather than farm to table.
And in an effort to widen its power and profit, the agriculture giant has recently purchased a corporation which sells climate data to farmers. The price tag of $930 million wasn't a problem for Monsanto, which grossed a reported $13.5 billion in revenue last year. But decades before GMOs and fears about modified foods came along, Monsanto was already in business. It helped bring pesticides, Agent Orange, and Terminator seeds to the market. Agent Orange was used by the U.S. military during the Vietnam War, where it's estimated to have killed hundreds of thousands of people. Its effects are still being felt today. Vietnam says some 500,000 children have suffered birth defects due to herbicide. Monsanto's current practices have ignited protests around the globe. Millions are taking to the streets demanding that big food comes clean by either labeling genetically engineered products or not selling them at all. Marina Portnaya, RT, New York.
And Monsanto is not the only GM producer causing concern. We spoke to Colin O'Neill, who is Director of Government Affairs at the Centre for Food Safety in the US. He says such companies have the power to pressure governments worldwide to get their products on the market.
These marches are raising awareness about the issue and bringing awareness not only about Monsanto and its influence in agriculture, but also other chemical companies that have become major agribusiness influences on Capitol Hill. I think we see an overwhelming influence in governments, and that really has to do with money. That these are major chemical companies. The top, over 53% of seeds are owned by just a handful of these major agribusiness chemical companies. So they exert tremendous influence in politics and have millions upon millions of dollars to spend to ensure that their products get sped through reviews and also to ensure that consumers are not informed about what the products they are eating. So, for instance, not labeling genetically engineered foods.